For all my years, up to the time when I graduated from college, it was like this. Simon says, do this. Simon says, do this. Do this, do that. There's always some Simon or some Simonetti who's always telling me what to do. And when I graduated from college, I got this great, unambiguous admonition. Get out of the house and get a job. I couldn't find a job, so I joined the Franciscans. But it's a vocation, it's not a job. Is that right, Provost Houlihan? It's a vocation. But most of you are graduating, went to college full time. The 2 years began to speak with you, confer with you, pray with you, laugh with you, and even cry with you. I realized you have a different experience than I did. I was told to go into the real world. I'm convinced that college students in the 21st century are in the real world. Not only are most of you going to college full time, you've worked an average of 20 to 25 hours a week. I don't know of any other college in the United States that does that on a regular basis. You come from all different backgrounds, all different places, but all different gifts and talents that Almighty God has blessed you with. Being a college student in Brooklyn Heights is the real world. Just look at Court Street. Court Street is literally where you see the U.S. court system, the federal courts, and the state courts. You got people who make laws, you have people who enforce the laws, and you have a lot of people who break the law. And they're all on Court Street, and they're all on Brooklyn Heights. If you go on the subway walking around, you can't tell the difference. Who broke the law, who made the law, right? We're all in it together. We're all in it together. But Marco read a particular part of that psalm. It's very important for us here tonight. I bless the Lord who counsels me. And for the college graduates of St. Francis College of 2014, you've had a great faculty and staff who's provided wise counsel for all students engaged in the 21st century world. Yes, St. Francis College is in the real world. And the hallmarks of our Franciscan education is also based in St. Francis and St. Clare. And who is a great role model today, who acts like St. Francis of Assisi here today? Look no further than our own present Pope, Pope Francis, who just a few days ago addressed the leaders of the United Nations in Rome and implored them to confront an unequal distribution of wealth in the world. The Pope teaches by example, as St. Francis did. As many faculty members here at St. Francis College also teach by example, and namely our very own Dr. Francis Green. You might ask yourself also, who is a great model today that closely resembles St. Clare of Assisi? St. Clare, as you know, is the first founder of the female religious order who composed her own rule, not only with her faith, but also with a great education. St. Clare also stated the need for formation education, the growing Poor Clare's order. Who today would resemble St. Clare of writing a rule, not just out of faith, but also imploring for an education? May I offer a radical example of a contemporary St. Francis Clare who emphasized faith and desire for education. Her name is Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani Muslim young girl, and all she ever wanted in life was to have an education. She was targeted by the Taliban in Pakistan, but was her own public campaign to promote education among young women in Pakistan. A couple years ago, while riding on a bus towards school, the bus was attacked, and Malala was purposely shot and left to die. She survived the attack, and she made a miraculous recovery. Not only from Pakistan, a group of wonderful doctors and nurses in Great Britain. Last July, 2013, on her 16th birthday, right here in New York at the United Nations, Malala addressed the full house of young people from all over the world and made what I believe was one of the finest arguments for the right education for all the people of God. Here are some of her prophetic words. The extremists are afraid of books and pens. The power of education frightens them. The power of the voice of women frightens them. That is why the Taliban killed many teachers and polio workers. They are afraid of change, afraid of equality that we women will bring into our society. One child, one teacher, one pen, one book can change the world. These are the words of Malala, who not only spoke these words, lives these words, but inspires the world for the right education for all the people of God. Is it a stretch to say she's just like St. Clair? Perhaps some people may say that. But we at St. Francis College, we believe the Franciscan spirit is imbued in all students who go there, no matter what country they come from, what religion they are, what social and economic background they are, what language they speak, whether they're for the Yankees or for the Mets. If you're a Met fan, you're in tough luck, pal. No matter what, really, who you are, you're accepted of God's understanding, which each person is loved and revered by Almighty God in our living Franciscan tradition. Many graduates here tonight come from diverse backgrounds. As I said, Marco's own family is here today from Serbia. We got Winnie's family here from the Bronx. We've done a good job in St. Paul's letter to the Galatians. We range from people from Golan Heights to the Brooklyn Heights here tonight. But may I close this homily with a quiz? Yes, there'll be other types of quizzes, exams and tests of will that you have for the rest of your life. If you think quizzes and exams and tests are over, you have a new beginning of what they are. So I ask you, especially the young man with the bow tie in the back there, name 10 neighborhoods in New York City that the last name ends in Heights. Let's start with Brooklyn. There is Brooklyn Heights, Crown Heights, Dyker Heights. In Queens, there is Jackson Heights, Cambridge Heights. In the Bronx, there is Morris Heights, University Heights. In Manhattan, there's Washington Heights, Hamilton Heights, and Morningside Heights. And in Staten Island, yes, in Staten Island. In Staten Island, we have a bunch of you here tonight. I know I talk those Staten Island accents out there. We have Arlen Heights. There are 10 neighborhoods in this city that ends with Heights. But here, you students chose to go to school in Brooklyn Heights. All the great neighborhoods, but you got your degree in Brooklyn Heights. And now go forth and ascend to greater heights as you rise to the occasion with a great education in the Franciscan tradition. Go get them! The college class of 2014 of St. Francis College, God bless you and best of luck to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am so grateful to see you all, faculty, administration, family, friends, and of course, the dynamically determined class of 2014. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Wow. As I stand here, all I can say is, wow. How blessed am I? How blessed are we? Tomorrow around this time, we have the opportunity to call ourselves the degree-carrying alum of St. Francis College. So before I really begin, I just want to thank somebody else. And I want to start off by saying, good evening, God. Because He is the reason for these great blessings. And I cannot continue to speak until I stop and give Him praise. And I want you to help me out and give Lord some praise. I have had the great pleasure of serving the students this year. We have had an awesome year. We've laughed together, we've broke bread together, and sometimes we've cried together. 4 years have gone by incredibly fast, and we're finally here. I could remember where I was 4 years ago, in 2010. There I was. I walked up to this door. This is my door of opportunity. Every time I complete certain levels in my life, this door appears. So I knocked, and I opened slowly, and here it was, a new chapter, a new life in New York City. This was my opportunity. This big fish from the small pond of Kissimmee, Florida, that quiet Disney World life that I only knew, had finally reached. I watched the movies, I read the books, I watched the shows, and here I finally was. As the semester progressed in St. Francis, it became more of my home. Hours in the week were spent so easily. I was in 4 different clubs, I was working in the library, and I was developing relationships with the most dynamic individuals that I would say work miracles. Any activity, any event, I would see the same people going beyond their job descriptions and helping us understand why it was important. And soon, I would develop the joy of carrying the true Franciscan spirit in my heart. I know some of you are sitting there like, what is that spirit? It did not only mean maintaining and caring for the goods and virtues of the people. It was believing in them as if they were your own. Originally, when I came here for myself. I wanted to be successful for myself. I moved here saying, I want to be in New York and work at a snooty television station and wear nice clothes and walk into an office every day. But as opportunities progressed, from the different stations to the different magazines, at this point, I wanted more. People would start asking me, how do you do it? What can you do to help me? And I realized how much I loved doing it. I loved explaining to people my different experiences and how I could help them, because that's what people did for me. Many opportunities would follow in my years at St. Francis. And as they did, not only was I learning, I was enjoying sharing my experiences with others. Upon my arrival here, I was surrounded with individuals who would love me, teach me and introduce me again to the people who would take part in my change. I was once taught, every individual you encounter is a golden link to your chain of success. And even though I'm a poor, soon-to-be graduating student, I feel rich. And my eyes are a little blurry, because in this room, I'm surrounded by all these bright golden links that are responsible for the change in me today. It's not about me. It never was. It's about what I can contribute, about what we can contribute, and what we have contributed, and what we will continue to contribute for the community. Everything happens for a reason, they say. When I think about my 4 years and all of my encounters with all of you in this room, it amazes me. My first connection, of course, was with the culture clubs. And if you know me, you know I love my heritage. I love being Haitian. I love everything about my culture. And I feel so blessed to have attended an institution that allowed me to share this love that I have for my culture with my community. And the best part about it is, unlike the Spanish town I came from, I was surrounded by beautiful Haitian people that made me even more proud to be in Brooklyn, New York. Not to mention, in these culture clubs, I was allowed the gift of the greatest friends. Friends that today, if I walk into their home, their parents will treat me like their own. What would you like to eat? What have you done today? What are you doing tomorrow? In that same sophomore year, I would join the most illustrious organization in the world. I was initiated into Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I would be the second Delta at my school since 1997. This opportunity not only let me gain connections in any industry, I was able to do more for the community, more for the students, and bettering the young women in the community. And in my years at St. Francis, I was not the only one. I watched our Greek community multiply, and we did so many changes, and we left so many marks. And I'm so glad that I met all of you. In 2013, I realized that I love to help the students. I love contributing to change. I love being around events, and I loved hosting different things. And I wanted to ultimately be a part of the larger aspect. Although I was already in a sorority, this year, I was initiated into a different sisterhood. The executive board this year made history in being the first SGA executive board of all women. We came into this year hungry for a change. Lalandra, Jessica, Robin, I love you guys. Thank you for always maintaining the best interests of the students in our school in your heart. We have worked so hard, and I'm so honored to have worked with you. Much of what we do, of course, would not be possible without the great mentors at St. Francis. Rob, thank you for allowing us to work with you. And I think we could agree that between you and Ruben, we all can plan any event with our eyes closed. Jamal, thank you for always keeping it real with all of us, because you allowed me to be comfortable enough to be real with all the clubs and the organizations at the school. Sharita, I owe you everything, because you believed in all of us. You believed in my career, and even when they told me no, you are the reason why I can stand here and say that I have interned and worked with the leading television stations and magazines that I could only have imagined in my dreams. Thank you. To my advisor, Emmeline, because that's who you are to many of us and to me. Thank you for always supporting me and loving us and making sure you came to all of our events and supported all of our initiatives. Although this next individual is no longer with us, Nurse Deb, I know you are watching. And I thank you for all the love and the discipline you taught us. Then of course, next, I call him our wizard, because whenever we need anything, we know where to find it. Ruben, you have taught us so much. You have protected us, led us, fed us, and taught us as if we were your own children. And I thank you so much. To my family here in New York, my aunts, my uncles, and cousins, when I needed something, you were there. When I was hungry, you didn't hesitate to feed me. When I'm not paying attention to myself or my health, you were right there. I thank you for all your love, because truly, I would not have made it without you all. To my first mentors in life, in my journey from a girl to a woman, and my connection with God. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Daddy, you are my rock. You gave me the tools I needed to come to New York without any fear. You reminded me of my foundation And when I was lost, you prayed for me. Mommy, my queen, my hero. Words cannot express my gratitude to you. It used to be just me and you. And I watched you go through so much. And sometimes I don't think you know how much I am you. And even when they called you crazy about letting me move to such a big city, you let me go. I'm a fighter just like you. And I love you, and I thank you for everything. My fellow class, we all now have the key. I said I wasn't gonna be like Kevin Durant, and here I am. Yes, and I am talking about your degree. No matter what society says, now you have the proof of your dedication, your determination, and your willingness to fight all the more earnestly to reach your goal. In September, we will accrue a new addition to this family. And with all the work that you all have done, they won't have any issues. And with the help of the faculty, staff, and administration, you have left a mark for them to build off of. We have had so many firsts this year. We have worked so hard on our initiatives, and we have fought for what we believed in. What I can hope for this new class is that they taste whatever it is that we felt our first years here. That Franciscan spirit that just cannot be explained, that cannot be marketed or put on any train. I hope that they continue to push our school forward beyond what we ever imagined. So here's to you. Here's to the faculty that supported you, the parents and guardians that gave you the guidance, your peers that gave you a little something to look forward to day by day. Here's to the long nights and the days you thought you were going to give up, only about 2 weeks ago. We finally made it. And now, let's go and share it with the world. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to the Terriers graduating class of 2014 and to the families and loved ones who are here today. I'd like to acknowledge a couple of groups. I would like to very much acknowledge the administration, so nobly led by our own Brendan Dugan, class of 1968, our president. I'd also like to acknowledge our faculty who have been here for you through thick and thin. In particular, someone who had a real impact on my life, Dr. Francis Green. And I'd also like to thank our alumni board, our Vice President Bob Smith, who is here today representing us. These are a very special couple of days for you and for me as well. You've worked for years to reach this point, to reach your goal, and that goal too. And you are here today in the eyes of your loved ones, in the eyes of your faculty, in the SFC community. And it's a special time because for the last 6 years, I've had the honor of serving you on your alumni board. And today marks the final time that I will welcome a class to the ranks of SFC alumni. So I want to tell you why this moment is different than any other that's happening at the more than 4,000 colleges in the United States. It's about two men in a boat. You see, about a century and a half ago, these two men in Ireland received a letter from Brooklyn. And the letter said, "Please help." It was from a man named John Laughlin, who was the very first bishop of Brooklyn. And this was 1858. He simply said, "Please help us." So without asking anything further, these two men left Ireland, and we can assume they probably never saw their families again. And many of you here today have traveled great distances. You might be the first to come to this country. Your parents might be the first to come to this country. You know what that heartache can be like. So these two Franciscan brothers left Ireland because they were needed. They were from a centuries-old tradition dating back to our patron, Francis of Assisi. 180 Remsen Street, our alma mater, is the living manifestation of their work. My personal heroes, the Franciscan Brothers of Brooklyn, continue the tradition to this day. A chain unbroken. You, my fellow Terriers, are part of this unending chain of peace, love, and humble service. Terriers, why do I tell you this? Whether you were very active at SFC, or struggled with work and family commitments, or somewhere in between, whether you realized it or not when you chose SFC, please consider this. You are part of a great tradition that stretches back to our namesake. Besides your education, our heritage as alumni distinguishes us from any other institution. I ask you to stay in touch with us and have your next great Franciscan moment with us. I ask you to be a continuing part of the family of Franciscans. I ask you to honor our beloved Franciscans of Brooklyn who only ever needed to hear the words, "Please help." So I ask you the same. Please keep us in your hearts. Please help us. Graduates, it is with honor and love in my heart that I welcome you to the family of St. Francis College alumni. Go do great things. God bless you. You are officially Terriers.